September was by far the busiest month of the year so far for me, so I only got about 4 books in reading wise, and you saw two of them. The first one was Anxious People by Fredrick Bachman. In Anxious People by Fredrick Bachman, you're following like 6 different point of views. I think the whole story is about a hostage situation, so you're following the point of views of some of the hostages, two of the cops, and the bank robber themselves. Overall, it's a really fantastic book about human nature, humanity. It does delve into suicide a little bit, so there are some trigger warnings there, but it talks about it in such a healing way. I feel like there are a lot of books or movies that can glorify suicide in a way by romanticizing it, things of that nature, and this is just the complete opposite. It really hits home, delves into how hard it is for the people around you and how it affects everybody around you, how life has to go on but nothing's ever the same, and so it's just such a phenomenal book. I touched on it a lot in my reading vlog, so I'm not going to go super in depth here, but I did really love it and it got a lot of 5-star reviews in my book club. I highly recommend Fredrick Bachman and his writing. His books are very literal. He uses a lot of metaphors. He's very straight to the point in his writing, but there's something about it that's so refreshing and so different than so many other just like fiction books. It's I love it. I love his writing so much. So, highly recommend Fredrick Bachman, highly recommend Anxious People, and Beartown. Beartown's a really great book. That was the first Fredrick Bachman book that I read. I'm hoping to read My Friend soon because I heard that it's really good. I think it came out a couple months ago, like deep summer maybe. The second book that I read, I also have a review in the reading vlog, and that is called The Midwife by Jennifer Worth. It is a memoir. I did not know it was a memoir when I first picked it up, so that was like pleasantly surprising because I thought it was just going to be a fiction about a nurse, much like Kristen Hanna's books, which I still have not read, but I've heard of. Reading it from Jennifer's point of view is so amazing because you're not only realizing that, oh my God, these were true stories, this is stuff that actually happened, but it happened in London in like the 50s, I want to say, and it just shows how far medicine has come in this span of time. Like it's phenomenal how far medicine's come, and I'm very interested in medicine and nursing and things of that nature. So it was a book that I was really able to dive deep into. Once I got into it, I was busy and was listening to it and then was reading it, so it was kind of hard for me to actually connect with the book for a while. I think I do mention in my reading vlog that if you're thinking of listening to it, I think you definitely should. I listened to the Spotify version, and the narrator for the Spotify version is phenomenal. Her accent's absolutely amazing for what the book entails. A lot of it's Cockney accents and like, I don't know, just different dialects that are in England, that I'm not familiar with. So it was really fun to hear it in that point of view. I think I even said that it was like kind of hard. It was harder to read because it was written in the accent. And so if you don't know the accent or don't know it well, it's kind of difficult. It's a learning curve for sure. So other than that, the book was great. Loved hearing how far nursing has come. I loved hearing about her stories, about other nurses that she worked with, nuns that she worked with, because she was part of a convent, not as a nun, but as a nurse, and just seeing how people treated her with so much respect because nurses and nuns were seen as such high authority in those days, or at least high authority to be respected. So very interesting stuff, but love the book. I think I gave it 4.5 or 5 stars, I want to say. Then we have One by One by Frieda McFadden. I just really needed my thriller fix. Like that's the only reason that I read this book. I think I read it in one sitting. It was super quick. It gave me the feeling that I needed. In One by One, you're following our main character, Claire. She is a wife and a mother of 2 kids that are like kind of older, I think, and her marriage is falling apart. The story opens with Claire and her husband Noah packing, getting ready for a cabin trip with their closest friends. They're going to like an inn, and they're going to pick up all of their friends and drive in Claire's van to get there. One of the people in the friend group is brand new. He is the boyfriend of Claire's best friend, and it's everybody's first time meeting him. And he decided to print out the map. He said that he's been to this inn before, and he eventually gets them lost. Not only do they get lost, but the van breaks down and they get stranded in the middle of the woods. Soon, everybody from the group starts getting picked off one by one until Claire and her husband Noah are left. Now, I don't want to give any spoilers, so I'm not going to go any further than that. I did have one girlfriend tell me that it sounded very close to The Human Centipede. It is not a graphic or disgusting book like The Human Centipede is a movie, but I was told that it's the same premise where you get stranded in the woods and you have to, people are getting picked off one by one, blah, blah, blah. I've never seen it, never will see it. The twist at the end was okay. It was what I expected of a Frieda McFadden thriller. I will say a couple of her twists have been really like hard hitting. Oh my God, I cannot believe that happened. This was not one of them, but it did scratch the itch for a thriller book that I was looking for. The last book that I read was People Watching by Hannah Bonam-Young. As you could also see in my reading vlog, this was a highly anticipated read for me. I am not a person that has to read new releases. I get super excited for new releases, but this book and Soul Searching by Lila Sage were two of my most anticipated books this year. I was so excited for this book and I cracked it open immediately. I was a little bit disappointed with the book. I was going to put off making this video because I don't know exactly how I feel about this book so far, and maybe that's because I just expected so much out of it. I loved Out on a Limb and Out of the Woods so much. They were probably those books are what made her one of my go-to authors, one of my favorite authors. Our main characters are Milo and Prudence. Prudence lives with her parents. She takes care of her mom who has early onset Alzheimer's, and her dad runs a shop in this small town, kind of like a drive-through town, tourist stop, things of that nature. And her dad really wants her to go out and see the world and not stay stuck in this town with her mom and him. Then in comes Milo. He is heavily tattooed, drives a van, very nomadic lifestyle, and he tends to bop around everywhere. You know that Milo's from this town. Him and Prudence have never crossed paths in the past, but Milo's coming back to help his brother start up a brewery and to help take care of his brother's kids because they got a lot of kids. You also know that Milo comes from a family that had a really tough time growing up. Him and his siblings got out of pretty rough situations. You don't know exactly what. Everything I'm going to tell you is pretty much on the back of the book, and Prudence is a virgin and she wants to live a little. Her dad told her that she has to live, see the world, and so this is her version of doing that. She meets Milo, they hit it off immediately, and she pretty much wants him to teach her all he knows about casual sex. I was really torn on this book because from the get-go, I feel like Milo is just all about sex. I know this is realistic for some people. I know some people are just looking for hookups, but in a romance book where you want the couple to have that emotional connection and you know that they're going to eventually have that emotional connection, it's really weird and frustrating for him to just immediately, like when you're in his head, that's all he's thinking about when he sees her. I feel like the book is also kind of infantilizing Prudence a little bit. They also call her Prue because she is a virgin. And so it's very like, I don't know. I feel like she just makes her a little dumb. She's a 25-year-old girl in the 21st century. Like she knows what she's doing. She knows what to do. And I think that the author did not give her enough credit for this. I'm so sorry, Hannah. I love you so much. We had a lot of subplots like Prue's mom's Alzheimer's. We find out some things about Prue's dad at the end of the book, and then a lot about Milo's family. I shouldn't say that we find out a lot about Milo's family, but we get sort of a closer look at what happened in his past. But even then, I think we could have gone deeper. It was a very short book, like a little less than 300 pages. I definitely would have been happy with a longer book that dove way more into those things, the Alzheimer's, what her dad was going through, and Milo's past. And I feel like it would have created so much more depth for these characters. At the end of the day, I feel like these characters have a lot going for them. They were very, very promising. As much as Milo kind of creeped me out in the beginning, I think that they both eventually kind of won my heart a little bit. I still am kind of holding Milo at like an arm's length. I think if I met him in person, I would be kind of like, okay, let's back up for a second. But I think that it was really promising. And so I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't dive in more to those emotional aspects of the story, especially because they were such big parts of the characters' lives and who they were as people. There was also a third act breakup, which I don't love, and it was sort of a miscommunication. And maybe that's me spoiling things, but I mean, I hate a third act breakup. I hate a miscommunication trope. Maybe this book just wasn't for me, but I was excited for it. I think I gave it like 3 stars. It was a 3.5. It was a 3.75, then a 3.5, then a 3. Hey, maybe that's my fault for putting too much expectations on it, but at the end of the day, that's how I felt. I did enjoy it as I was reading it. I will not recommend listening to it. The Milo narrator just did not do it for me. I also think that his like inclination of words was I don't it was just odd. It sounded very robotic. So wasn't a huge fan of that. I'm so sorry, Hannah. I love your book so much. It is sitting on my shelf. It is a gorgeous cover, and I do like the characters still. And I'm still going to read all your books. So sorry. Now you're probably wondering, Victoria, did you read your classic of the month? I'm halfway through it. I did get halfway through it. I'm almost there. My classic of the month is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I feel like I've done some research into it since starting to read it, and I cannot believe that this was like a short story that was written on a whim. I thought that was phenomenal. She was 18 years old when she wrote this in 1818, or it was published in 1818, so it was probably like 1817. But reading it also feels like a completely different language because of when it was written and how people spoke at the time. I feel like I'm like constantly trying to like translate it in my head, but it was beautifully written. Her description of things is amazing. It's set in Switzerland, and so just imagining the Alps in the background of all of these scenes is like so beautiful and very haunting considering how huge the mountains are there. And, it's constantly drizzling and dreary weather. It is a very, very short book, but I am only about halfway through it. I am kind of taking the time to like annotate it a little bit to kind of sit more with the word because, like I said, I kind of have to translate it in a way. It makes me feel my brain rot TikTok brain is really having to work to read this book, and that's great. I'm very excited. It's showing me that I need to read more books like this, and I am enjoying it. I did find out that there's like two versions, I think. Let's back up real quick. I'm sure most of you know what Frankenstein is about. Frankenstein opens up from the point of view of a man on a boat, and he is writing to his sister or a lover or a cousin, somebody close to him emotionally, and he's telling this person that he really wants companionship, that he is missing out on this aspect of his life because all of these sailors are kind of hardened men. As the letters go on, he talks about how he has met this guy that has come on board, and this man is pretty much just like mad and is really going through it, and he has become his companion in a way because this man is taking care of the man that came onto the boat, and you find out that the man that came onto the boat is Victor Frankenstein. So Frankenstein is then telling this man his entire story. So the book is from the point of view of the man hearing the story from Frankenstein and telling it to somebody through letters. So it's very interesting. It is very like unreliable narrator because Frankenstein has his twisted point of view that he's telling this guy, and this guy, it's basically like a huge game of telephone. So we go from letters to chapters. The letters are in the point of view of the first man. The first however many chapters are from Frankenstein's point of view of when he creates the monster. And then we get the point of view of the monster, which I just got to, which is it's kind of heartbreaking. I don't know if it's supposed to be a scary story. I feel bad for the monster. And maybe my mind will change as it goes on, but so far it's very beautifully heartbreaking. And that's as far as I've gotten, so I don't know what the rest of it looks like. I'm really liking it so far. It's just taking me more time to get through it than anticipated, so I do plan on finishing that within the next couple days. It's October 2nd today, and I plan on finishing it, I don't know, by Sunday. It's Thursday. That brings us to our music and movies of the month. I did not have a huge music and movie month. I didn't have a huge month and of any sort of media, I feel like, in September. I only have two songs that I was really listening to back and forth in September, and one of them is Galway Girl by Ed Sheeran. Get into it. It's such a good song. This is a song that I have loved for years and years, and I always go back to it for some reason. It's that damn fiddle in the song. It's just so good. It makes me think of Tangled when Rapunzel gets back into the castle grounds at the end and she's spinning in a circle and you can just hear like the fiddle or whatever instrument that is in the background, and it just keeps getting louder and going faster. That's how this song makes me feel. It is so much fun. It makes me want to go to Ireland, to Scotland. The second song is You and Me on the Rock by Brandi Carlisle. This song is so good. I'm in love, okay? I'm in love. And every time I hear the song, I cry because I just think about Jake and I. And I love it so much. It's so heartwarming. It's just so wholesome. It's just a feel good song for sure. Movies and TV, I have been watching Maid. I know it came out in like 2021, but I just recently got into it. It's a limited series that follows a gal who is in an emotionally abusive relationship. She has a 2-3-year-old daughter. She's 2, turns 3 as the show goes on. And it's about her struggling to get out of the situation that she's in. It is a amazing show. I think that it really shows what emotional abuse looks like in relationships, what it looks like from other people's point of view looking in. As the show goes on, you kind of start rooting for the boyfriend because he does get better, and you're like, wow, maybe he'll change. And then you realize that's not the case at all, and that you're kind of in the same mindset that she is, of thinking that things could get better and hoping that they could get better. So I think the writers did an amazing job at portraying this, at showing that emotional abuse could be covered up by people that don't necessarily believe it because they don't see bruises, they don't see marks on you. I think it sheds light on a very sensitive subject in a way that's done so beautifully, and you could tell that they put a lot of care and effort into this show. And Margaret Qualley is the main character. She did a phenomenal job. Andie MacDowell, is that her name? Andie MacDowell? I want to say that's her name. She plays the mother, and she has mental health issues as well. You can kind of see that our main character, Alex, did not have an amazing upbringing. She is also the child of emotional abuse and physical abuse, and so it just shows her trying to break this generational curse that has been affecting her whole life. And it's an amazing show. So I just finished that. I absolutely loved it. If I could give it a 5-star, I'd give it. It's a 5-star show for me. The one movie that I watched in September was 10 Things I Hate About You with Heath Ledger, and I don't know the main character girl's name, but I loved it so much. It was everything that a 90s teenage rom-com needed. We had the best friends that were a little bit nerdy, had great humor. Our main character, just very broody teenage girl, is keeping everybody at a distance so that she doesn't get hurt for rightful reasons. And I just loved her. I think if I watched this movie when it came out, I probably would have made my whole personality hers because I just loved her. She was so cool. I thought she was so cool. And then we have Heath Ledger, the bad boy. This was my first Heath Ledger movie that I've seen, which, oh my God, I know. I've never seen Batman. I've never seen anything else that he's in, unfortunately. So this was the first one. Hello. Oh my God. Anyways, super cute movie. I love it. I don't know how it's taken me 25 years to watch it. I never want to stop talking about it. And I just found it on DVD at the thrift store the other day. So I have added it to my DVD collection so that I'll have it forever. That will probably become a annual watch for sure. Also, the high school that it's set at in Washington, beautiful, gorgeous. I didn't even know that that high school existed. It's a real high school. I thought maybe it was like a college somewhere, or I don't know. Absolutely stunning. Anyways, that is my very short September wrapped. My October looks a little bit more free, so I'm hoping to get in some good Halloween, spooky, autumnal books. We have a lot of festive plans coming up that I'm really excited for. So hopefully within the next few videos, we will be getting into that. But I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching.